Meghan Markle named in CIA leak tied to Project Ivy. Influence operation. When Project Ivy first surfaced in internal U.S. intelligence chatter, it sounded like the plot of a spy thriller. But a recent leak has ignited a media firestorm. According to sources familiar with classified briefings, a CIA memo explicitly named Meghan Markle's inner circle in connection with Project Ivy, a covert, private sector campaign allegedly designed to shape global media narratives. The information was reportedly presented behind closed doors to senior U.S. officials. Within 72 hours, portions of the memo were leaked to political journalists, triggering a social media frenzy. Was Meghan being unfairly targeted, or was something deeper at play? The Project Ivy leak, described as a narrative management program. Project Ivy is said to operate through media consultants, analytics firms, and celebrity influencers, focusing not on espionage but on influencing global perception. According to the leaked document, Meghan's PR team was listed under a section titled Entities of Interest, Narrative Amplification. An intelligence source familiar with the briefing stated, "This isn't about spying at soft power via media. The real concern is coordinated influence, especially across the Commonwealth." Reportedly, the CIA tracked spikes in social media messaging from accounts tied to Meghan's professional network. These accounts amplified narratives like royal family reform and independent philanthropy, which the memo claims align with broader movements challenging traditional power structures. Global fallout. The leak triggered reactions on both sides. Of the Atlantic, U.S. intelligence officers told media outlets that simply being named does not imply wrongdoing. However, a former operative noted, names don't end up on classified decks unless there's strategic reason. In the UK, the implications were immediate. Sources say MI6 and GCHQ reviewed their data for links to Project Ivy, while British officials quietly assessed reputational risks to the monarchy. One insider summarized the sentiment: "This goes beyond family drama. Royal neutrality is at stake." Meghan's response caught off guard. Meghan reportedly found out about Project Ivy like everyone else on social media. She quickly convened an emergency Zoom with her legal and PR teams. Source claims, Meghan said, "They want to turn me into a spy story because I won't play nice." Her team released a firm denial. The Duchess has never been involved in any influence operation, formal or informal. These claims are defamatory and baseless. Legal teams began preparing inquiries to U.S. agencies demanding answers. Behind the scenes, her advisors debated whether to launch lawsuits or let the controversy die down. One Hollywood PR strategist described Meghan's camp as being in war mode, comparing the moment to the early days of the UK phone hacking scandal, narrative warfare, or smear campaign. While Meghan's supporters call this a politically motivated smear meant to discredit a powerful woman, critics argue the data footprint is too significant to ignore. The narrative battle grew nastier as alleged audio snippets of Meghan's advisors discussing media strategy began circulating, though none were verified and could be deepfakes. Online, the debate intensified. Supporters said, "This proves Meghan scares powerful people," while others countered, "Influence campaigns don't end up in CIA slides by coincidence." Royal and political consequences. Buckingham Palace reportedly went into crisis mode. Senior royals, PR strategists, and intelligence liaisons met urgently to assess how this could affect the monarchy's image. An insider said, "If Washington is looking at Meghan, this isn't just tabloid gossip anymore." New internal royal protocols were issued, warning members to consider reputational risk when working with global PR firms. The palace was especially concerned that Meghan's reach could undermine the perception of royal neutrality, a cornerstone of the monarchy's identity. Meanwhile, members of the U.S. House Intelligence Committee requested informal briefings. One senator remarked, "We're not saying she's an operative, but narratives shift markets and public opinion. That matters." The bigger picture. By week's end, polls showed the public was sharply divided. Around 42% saw Meghan as a political scapegoat. 37% believed there was truth behind the CIA concerns. Regardless of opinion, one thing was clear: Meghan was no longer just a royal dissident. she was now viewed as a potential geopolitical influencer. Streaming services reportedly began developing documentaries on the leak, tentatively titled The Meghan Effect. A rumored second CIA memo may include more names, suggesting the controversy has only just begun. For Meghan, this marks a turning point. Whether victim or visionary, she is now entangled in a global narrative far beyond the palace gates. Project Ivy leak. Meghan Markle's team at the center of a global influence stormwind. A leaked CIA memo surfaced referencing a mysterious initiative known as Project Ivy. It sent shockwaves through Washington, London, and the internet. This wasn't your average intelligence leak. According to insiders, the memo named Meghan Markle's PR and digital strategy team as key players in what was described as a coordinated influence. Campaigns stretching across social media platforms, entertainment outlets, and high-profile celebrity networks. Influence. Not espionage. Project Ivy is allegedly a private sector operation focused on shaping narratives subtly, guiding global public opinion rather than engaging in traditional espionage. Intelligence briefings described the program as using celebrity-adjacent influence, data firms and media consultants to steer conversations on topics ranging from humanitarian aid to royal family controversies. The bombshell? Advisors were reportedly flagged in a section titled Entities of Interest, Narrative Amplification. This label implies her team's digital reach isn't just massive, it's strategic, one intelligence source clarified. This isn't spycraft with wiretaps, it's influence through image. And in the age of streaming and social media, that's just as powerful. The leak that changed the game. The classified document allegedly included a timeline showing a spike in social media messaging tied to accounts connected to Meghan's global PR consultancy. These messages pushed themes like royal reform, media accountability, and philanthropy, independent of the crown, whether intentional or not. The narratives aligned with larger efforts to reshape traditional institutions, especially within the Commonwealth. Analysts pointed out unusual growth patterns and engagement rates that, according to one leaked note, suggested coordinated narrative seeding. This pushed Meghan's team into the CIA's analytical crosshairs, not as spies, but as influence vectors. Online, reactions were swift and extreme. One headline screamed, CIA names Meghan's team in global media ops Netflix thriller in real life. Others viewed it as an overreach. Is this about national security, or is someone afraid of a woman with influence? Asked one viral post. UK intelligence. On high alert, the fallout spread quickly to Britain. Within hours of the leak, MI6 and GCHQ reportedly initiated quiet internal reviews to assess any connection between UK data and Project Ivy. According to a leaked Whitehall memo, British officials were evaluating whether Meghan's alleged media influence could present a reputational threat to the monarchy or the stability of the Commonwealth. A palace insider reportedly said, "This isn't just family drama anymore, it's optics on a global scale." Buckingham Palace in crisis mode. At Buckingham Palace, damage control kicked in immediately. Though no one openly accused Meghan of running a covert operation, the fact that a former royal was named in a CIA slide deck was enough to send the palace into high alert. Aides were reportedly overheard saying the monarchy's prized reputation for political neutrality was under threat. King Charles was said to have convened a late-night strategy session with senior courtiers, PR experts, and intelligence liaisons. One participant described the mood as crisis level, with speculation about whether Meghan might go public, accuse the intelligence community of bias, or be framed as a digital age dissident. Meghan's reaction caught off guard. Meghan reportedly learned about the leak from social media. Within an hour, she convened her closest PR and legal advisors on an emergency Zoom call. One insider quoted her as saying, "They're trying to make me the face of a spy scandal because I won't stay silent." Her team released a carefully worded public statement. The Duchess of Sussex has never been involved in any influence operation. To suggest otherwise is defamatory and part of a coordinated misinformation effort. Behind the scenes, however, Meghan's advisors debated whether to file lawsuits or let the media cycle play out. A Hollywood PR strategist familiar with her team said bluntly, "They're in war mode. This is phone hacking scandal energy all over again. Deny, isolate, hit back." The cultural firestorm as Project Ivy exploded online, trending globally under hashtags like #IvyLeaks and #Meghan Wiretap. Debate intensified. Supporters saw a pattern. Every time Meghan tried to launch something, this time her lifestyle, a brand her name was dragged into fresh controversy. Critics, meanwhile, pointed to the digital evidence. If the narrative activity flagged by the CIA matches her team's digital footprint, something must be going on. The leak prompted calls for congressional briefings. Members of the House Intelligence Committee informally requested more information. One bipartisan senator was overheard saying, "This isn't about Meghan being a spy. It's about how fast narratives move markets and politics." That alone turned the Project Ivy story into something much bigger. Meghan was now being discussed not just as a royal figure, but a geopolitical one. Media manipulation or modern power? By the fifth day of coverage, Project Ivy was no longer just an intelligence leak. It had become a full-fledged media war. Multiple outlets claimed to have obtained snippets of audio allegedly featuring Meghan's advisors discussing media alignment. None were verified, and experts warned they could be deepfakes. Still, headlines were flooded with terms like coded strategy, amplification maps, and celebrity proxies. Critics cried foul. If Meghan's being monitored by intel agencies, that's surveillance overreach, said one former NSA official. We're entering a new era where celebrity influence is treated like national power. Polls soon reflected how divided the public was. 42% believed Meghan was being unfairly targeted. 37% thought the CIA's concerns were legitimate. 21% were undecided, but agreed the story changed how they viewed royal power. More than a royal story in the aftermath, Buckingham Palace issued new internal rules for royal family members, cautioning them about associating with outside PR firms operating globally. It was a quiet admission. Meghan's influence, even from outside the institution, had real consequences. Media analysts say the leak has elevated Meghan's public image from a divisive royal to a high-impact global figure. Her name is now linked not only to tabloid drama, but to the digital battlefield of influence and soft power. Documentary projects have already been pitched under titles like The Meghan Effect, Power in the Age of Influence. And there are reports of a second CIA memo naming additional public figures connected to Project Ivy, whether victim or vector.
Meghan Markle
has crossed a threshold few celebrities ever do. As one media expert put it, this isn't just a royal story anymore, it's a power story. And power stories don't die, they evolve.